How was it again? What was you were at a seminar or something like that? You said.
No, we were in. It was at. So I was in a big Facebook group for a while, like a really, really big flat Earth group. I was originally a glober in it, and then, man, that one guy came along, and I don't think he did that by accident. I think he knew exactly how to approach us egotistical minds of mathematics and be like, "Hey guys." Now I was in there. I had my stepdad's a flat earther, and I was like making fun of him all the time with my mom too. We were just ragging into him. And then one day I woke up in the morning and I was like, I feel kind of bad. I'm just gonna, for today, I'll take it with a grain of salt. I'll actually look into the flat earth stuff with a fair aspect and pretend like I don't know anything. And dude, I was just lost after that. And then I was like hanging on to my threads behind this mathematician. He was a university math professor. There was like fucking 3,000 comments on this post, and he was bashing everybody with his math, and he was really good. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get behind this guy, right? And then this dude comes on. He said he was a programmer, and he's like, hey guys, since you're all arguing about the curvature and shit, can one of you guys give me the curvature formula? I need it for my programming. And that professor provided him with the big one that I think it has sine or cosine or tan, like one of those, I think tan. I think he provided two, and each one has a different triangle and mathematical formula in it for figuring it out. It's a rather large formula for something really simple, is what one would think after they look into it. And this guy's like, no, not that. He's like, I use pi, and I use the radius, circumference, diameter, and all the knowns. And I run it around with my coding, and I'll get the effect that I need. But I feel like there should be something from the other side, just as simple, like the opposite way of doing the code. And I took physics, and I was like, fuck, he's right. There should be some really simple way to figure that out, simple to all the rest of what he's doing. So I went, and I'm like, I'm going to go do this myself. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to end this flat earth discussion forever, right? And I was like, okay, so what's curvature to me, right? Mundane terms. If I was on a huge ball and I took a step forward, how much would I also drop down? Right? That's what curvature is. That's what we're trying to explain. So I was like, okay. Yeah. Well, the simple answer to that would be to take the distance that I step out, so the distance traveled, and divide it into the distance that I drop down, and I should get a percentage. Right? This is where things get real fucked. And I did the math for it, and I got like 63.66% drop. That's what I got. 0.6366, which is like 63% drop. And I was like, what the fuck? Because I'm running with 8 inches a mile squared originally, like everybody else has taught me to do for all these years. And I was like, so 63% means at 10 feet out, it would drop 6 feet. And at 100 feet, it would drop 60 feet. And at 1,000 feet, it would drop 600 feet, right? And at a mile, which is like 5,000 some odd feet, it would be over 3,000 feet of drop required. And I was like, that can't fucking be right. Right? That's just way too much. That doesn't, maybe the Earth's really big like they said it was, and the drop's a lot less. So I used a really big circle, and I did the math, and I got the same fucking number. And I was like, what the fuck? So then I did a smaller one, and I got the same number. And I was like, Jesus, what's going on? So I'm like, I've got to check my work at least. So the way it works out is you have to times the diameter by 2. And then you divide it by this 0.6366, and you get the circumference, the same rough amount that you get if you use pi to 3.14. And I was like, oh my God, math checks itself. So yeah, you can take any diameter you want, times by 2, divide by fucking 0.636, you got the fucking diameter. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I realized what actually happened. They trick us in school by teaching us pi. Because what is pi? They give you some stupid explanation, and I asked, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. But I can tell you what pi is. So what's a circle in one dimension? It would be a line equal to the diameter, right? That sounds about right?
Yep.
Because we only perceive one dimension. Now in 2 dimensions, we call a 2-dimensional circle we draw on a paper 2-dimensional. That's actually incorrect. It's still a 3-dimensional object. A 2-dimensional being would only be able to perceive 2 dimensions. So down the line and then back up the other side. And it's not until the 3rd dimension that we start to apply this curvature that we talk about. That's where the 3 point. So what pi is a transition of a 1-dimensional circle, 1D, D, diameter, right? That's funny how the dimension and diameter have the same fucking letter. 1D changed into a 3D circle, so you times it by 3.14, which skips understanding of curvature because it's found between the 2-dimension and the 3-dimension, which is why you have to go 2D divided by 0.6366, and you got your number. So the actual curvature of a circle is 63% drop. And I posted that math on my Facebook. Now when I went back the next day after I figured I didn't get any fucking sleep. I was up all night. So the next day I get back on that conversation. I'm like, maybe this math professor will have something to say about this. So I presented him with this in the middle of that conversation. And he goes to me, he says, well, you're right, but the Earth's not a perfect circle, he goes. And then I said, yeah, but it's still got to be close, right? Because if you fuck your pi up by 1 decimal place, you don't have a circle anymore, right? It's that sensitive to the whole ordeal. It has to be like right spot on there. So he's like, no, you're absolutely right. Then that guy stopped talking. No responses for 2 fucking weeks. And he was one of the most avid people on this group. And then 2 weeks later, I go to log in my Facebook and they deleted me outright, saying I was portraying a celebrity. I just don't even want to get into the rest of it as a crazy fucking, but there was no turning back at that point, man. So then I can prove this, like a whole bunch of things. They try to say curvature of circles changes, right? Now I got a video of a pizza thing. It's silly. My flat earth buddies are laughing, but they know I'm right about it. And where they take this pizza and they cut like a cross out of the middle of it, like directly in the middle. And then it's like they say the pizza companies are stealing pizza because of this or whatever. And then they take those 4 pieces and they stick them together as a smaller circle and it all works out fine. Why would that work if curvatures of larger circles were different than the curvature of a smaller circle? Why would gears work? Why would pulleys work? Why would all these things work to have different sized circles if they have different curvatures to them? They don't, right? Diameter is a change, radius is a change, volume, area, circumference.
All right, Rick. Sorry, Rick. Let's let some other people get in, bro. Let's let some other people get in, bro. Yeah. Let's keep this going, man. Thanks. Just take 5, bro. Thanks. Chill. Cheers. Just let some other people respond if we can.
I've been meaning to ask you a question.
I was kind of asking his about something. Sorry, I was trying to get that his origin story. He was kind of telling how he woke up to flat Earth, and his challenges to his math.
No, that's me.
Pretty interesting.
They tell me to shut up all the time. I talk too much.
No, it's all good. I'm not trying to tell. I'm not trying to shut down what you're saying. I'm just saying you've been going for I think people wanted to respond to some of those points.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I'm
real
sorry.
Quick, I don't think he was trying to debate anybody. I just wanted to hear the end of that, if you don't mind, real quick, Rick. So you say you were locked out basically of that class. Is kind of the point. Like basically, like they figured out that you figured it out and banned you and made a claim about your name.
Just for that mathematical formula. Like I didn't post conspiracy posts or any of that kind of stuff. Even the tree stuff was very minimal. It was just that math that I posted on my wall and on that group post, and they deleted me outright. And they deleted my second account too. But, this is I'll add a little extra on here. I don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it. You guys don't need to get that.
Yo.
Anyways,
his point, Gio. I don't know if you heard what you're saying, but he's saying there's a 63% drop, or the drop is much greater than we're led to believe for the ball of Earth, and they get away with it by saying it's oblate spheroid. Basically, is that the point?
The point is what they skip the understanding of curvature. It makes, if anybody knew and understood how curvature of a circle works, there'd be nobody that would buy into this. Period. Right? It just there'd be no fucking questioning it.
Is it the squared they get away with it? Is it because of the squared, and then they can? Because it doesn't work otherwise. It's like a slope for the two.
It doesn't work anyways. Right? If you actually decide to apply oneself and you say, okay, let's draw some lines. Let's go the first one. We'll drop it over the first mile at fucking 8 inches. And then the second mile requires 8 times 8, I think it was, so 64 inches. And then it keeps incrementally getting way more angle and will actually give you it will draw into a spiral, like a really ugly spiral that stops into itself. It's nowhere near a circle. Secondly, if you've worked with construction at all, and if you put an 8-inch drop over 1 mile, you could probably bowl on it. That's how flat it would be.
Right. Yeah. It's they have to do it that way. Otherwise, people would call it out right away.
Yeah. And what happens when you decide to say, I'm going to start measuring here, and you measure your first mile and your second mile, but wait a second. No. I'm going to walk a mile forward.